to be here. But yes, this is an open coaching call. So I wanted this to be very comfortable, very open, very communicative for anybody who is here. Essentially, this is for you. This is in service for you to ask questions, to get my feedback. This is kind of a little taste of what it's like to work with me because 95% of the coaching I do, and for the way that most of us will work together, is going to be in group programs, whether that's my membership, Miss Queen of the Screen, in the Queen Collective, that's my signature 6-month program. Because I truly do believe that training and being with other women does a few things for us. One, it breaks down our own elements of comparison or judgment because instead of looking at other women and having all these like secrets and, oh, what is she doing? We're in the room with them. We get to learn from them and we start to see, oh, we're all human. We're all working towards something. We're all going through something. And two, we get expanded and we're really challenged to new levels of growth because we're being held to a higher standard. Because if you're in a room of 10 women and all 10 women are taking action every day, they're working out, they're, posting on social media, they're doing really big things, they're really passionate, you are naturally going to rise to that level as well. So I love group coaching. That's the number one way. Everyone's slowly jumping in. Let's make sure everybody's able to get on. Just doing a little intro here. Okay, hopefully everybody's able to come on. I don't have any issues. I see everyone here. Hi, Michaela. Who is iPhone? If you're iPhone, let me know your name because it just says iPhone. And Sherry's here. Sherry's been ready for this. Yeah, so this is a little taste of what it's like to work with me. If you're in one of my programs or if you follow me online and you're like, I want to work with Maria much closer. Like she is the one for me. And I know that in 2025, we're going to take things to new heights. Mariana. Hello, Mariana. Tia's here. Tia was on our Pink Friday call. But yeah, this is going to be an open call. And so the way that we do things typically, I will say I am going to share a little bit about my Pink Friday offers throughout this. Only because if you're here and you want to move forward, I want to give you that opportunity. But trust me when I say there's no obligation, right? I'm not going to like knock on each of your virtual doors and be like, hey, you were there. Are you not joining us? Or I might be like, hey, Tia, like you should be in the Make It Rain membership. What are you waiting for? But not in a very like required, like you have to wait. I want this to be of service. It's Monday. How are you all doing tonight? Michaela says that she's making dinner, wanted to tune in. Absolutely. Share with me how you're all doing today. How was your weekend? Sarah's joining the room. Emma Dingle is here. And if you know me, you know I am like a chin up, crown on, cameras on type of gal. So if you're able to be here, awesome. Like physically be here on camera, that's amazing. Just got home from the gym, caught this in time. Yay, so good. Everyone's so welcome to have your cameras on. It's cool. In the Queen Collective, we got Shani coming on. Yay, Bella's here, Sarah's here. Because the way, like, this is what I notice about when you have your camera on, so that you're not just like, oh my gosh, Maria, are you kidding me? You're making me do this. One of my clients who is in the Queen Collective, she joined us back in June. She would come on and not have her camera on. And then she quickly realized, oh, the Queen Collective, like you got to show up for it. Like Maria just doesn't let you not have your camera on. And then by the end of our time together in October, she was like the first one to have her camera on. She was the first one to ask questions. She was the first one to like, she didn't want to like type in the chat. She was like, I want to unmute myself. Like she had owned so much of who she was. She was so confident and she just won her first national title. She had competed multiple times, was a runner up, was top 5, and she just won a national title. So if that doesn't tell you that like showing up, even if you're like, my makeup's not done, I don't look good today, like be here. We don't care. We don't care. We love you. You're beautiful. And we want to see your face. There's everybody. Hello. Welcome to my world. Okay, 11 p.m. So cozy. Okay, so this is how we do things here. If you're in the Queen Collective or the Make It Rain membership, you know this is how I do things. I encourage you to drop the word hot seat. Hot seat, HOTSEAT, or you can drop me in the chat, but hot seat because it's like what we're gonna do is you're gonna unmute yourself and you're gonna be in the hot seat. You're gonna come up. If you have a question, if you're in a situation and you want my feedback, you want my guidance, for some of you who like know the drill, I mean, if you absolutely wanted me to review things like your wardrobe or runway, you would have to have those things prepared. We would do more of that more so in the Queen Collective, but I'm here to serve you. I'm here to answer your questions, to guide you. And if you don't think you have a question, but you're like, I want to type hot seat, but I don't know what I'm going to ask, do it. Okay, because even if you don't know exactly what it is, or you're not competing in a pageant, or you are, it doesn't matter. Allow yourself to be here. I want you to be here. I just saw Harriet's coming on as well. And you can just say, hi, this is my name. This is what I'm doing. I just wanted to learn and see what everyone was about today. And that is completely okay as well. If you're not able to like unmute yourself, maybe you got things going on, you can drop your question in the chat as well. But like I said, sometimes it takes like one person to like ask a question before everybody gets the ball rolling. We have Miss Emma Dingle here in the hot seat, ready to go. Emma's she was in the Win the Crown membership, which is now rebranded to the Make It Rain membership. She's one of our title holders. So Emma, come on up, and I'll have everyone just mute yourselves if that's all right, except for you, Emma. Sarah, I see you. We'll chat with you in a bit, Sarah. Thank you. Hi, Emma. What's up? How are
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
you? I'm doing good. I love this. I'm so excited.
Yeah, okay. Though I am a current title holder, I have my title until May. Of course, I'm always thinking about what's next. So I talked to Maria a little bit one-on-one just in DMs about potential ideas of where I can go. I won a provincial title, so now I'm looking at going to a national competition. And especially in Canada, there's lots of options. I've been really struggling kind of picking and solidifying where I want to go and like really looking back as to like what is my purpose in those specific competitions, why I'm choosing those specific competitions. So I've been really back and forth, but there's just a piece of me that is really drawn to the galaxy system, which is typically out of my comfort zone. I've been in very service driven pageants that had a lot of components, and galaxy is a more runway glitz, like super high fashion, but I kind of love the idea of a challenge. I feel like it would be really cool for me to keep all the really great stuff I'm doing with my platform and then add on this like new element of runway and this more kind of glitz side of things. But obviously there's hesitations at the same time of like, am I making the right choice? Is this the right system for me? So I just kind of wanted to get some feedback maybe of, what you thought
Yeah,
about.
no, I love this. And I love it when my clients ask me too, like, where should I go? Because sometimes someone will come to me and they're clearly not in the right system for them. And I'm sharing this for everybody. Not to say that there's a wrong system. I'll never shame you for the system you choose. I always support each of you, but it's just like, oh, if your goal is to do this, I would have recommended you to go here, but you've already signed up here. So I love that we're having this chat. So the first thing is that, do you want to go internationally? Because you have to think, if I'm competing here and I win, I've got to be able to fund the time, the energy, the money to go to the international. So is that something you would want, knowing that wouldn't even be until like 2026, which is like feels like a made up year?
Yes, 100% like would love to really step it up. And international is 100% in the picture for me.
Okay, awesome. And then what questions or what hesitations come up in your mind when you think about like, I want to go for Galaxy, but it might not be right? Like, what thoughts come up?
Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to also peel back those layers of why am I hesitating? Like, I feel like, you should be confident anywhere you're going. I think maybe a piece of me, because I'm a curvier person and I'm going in this more fashion based system, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, there's a little bit more pressure on what I'm wearing and in my presentation and things that, all the advocacy speaking, that all comes really easily to me. And I love that stuff. Um, so maybe that's like an insecurity that's coming out, but at the same time I'm working really hard to change those insecurities. And in the system that I competed in, I was the first curvy winner, so it's like, why not somewhere else? I think it just is a little bit out of my comfort zone of where I've competed prior.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you want to do this system. Like, I don't think there's like a doubt in your mind. I also think time-wise, it's really great if you're passing on your title in May, knowing
Yeah.
that most systems are like May or June. It doesn't give you much time to just like be in competitor mode again. And so I think Galaxy is a really great timeline. And personally, girls, for me, like, unless if you're going to Universe or like Grand or Supra, size isn't really what they're judging on. And if you're not winning, it truly doesn't have to do with the size of your body. Because you can see in the Galaxy system, like they've had curvier women, but it's like their personality, their charm, the way that they walk. But you just have to realize, okay, like my wardrobe really does matter. The way I walk really does matter. And it is still a very diverse score system, right? Like you have like
Yeah.
5 or 6 categories that you have to consistently do well in. And Emma, your walk is awesome. You would just have to kind of, get back into it and think, okay, now I'm doing it at Galaxy, which is, a little bit more. I can give a little bit more. I can have even more fun with it. But you told me you're up for a challenge. That's the glitzy, glammy system that you want to do. Like, I think it would be a really great fit. Otherwise, you would kind of have to wait until the following year to compete in one of the other systems that I might recommend. But I think that this is a really great option.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same. Like October is such a good timeline, and I've looked at RIM, which is obviously an amazing system, and I've looked a couple other places, but it just feels like with where I am, I want to do something different and challenge myself and train places that maybe I didn't focus as much on when I was prepping for my last competition. So it's a thought, but I'm glad you could see it for me because I'm kind of excited about the idea of doing something fresh and new.
Yeah, and you still get to bring your platform. Like they still are very service
Yeah,
based, but
yeah,
I see that for you. So just so everyone else can see as well. Like those are just some of the things that I'd ask Emma because you're already so aware and like you want to go there. If you weren't sure, I would ask things like, are you looking for something like a scholarship? Are you
mm,
looking to win? Are you looking to go internationals? Like I always like to know, why are you actually competing? What do you want from this? Otherwise, we're just like shooting in the dark, not really knowing. So that's all really important. And I would also tell you, like, oh, you really have to work on your runway. I don't think that's the case. You have a good runway. Now it's just like, all right, let's like once May time comes, okay, start in the runway studio like 1 day a week because that really is important. And your wardrobe, like all the alterations, like do all the alteration appointments because that matters when it comes to having a good walk.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm ready to strut my way, put the work in.
Yay. Awesome. I love it. Yeah, I would support it. I support you.
Thanks. That's it.
Okay, awesome. You are
Thank
welcome.
you.
See, and ladies, this is also why it's so helpful to like not only continue on with like, I'm not saying you have to have like only one coach, but it's so helpful. I've been working with Emma for over like 2 years now. I feel like a year and a half. So I know what she's going through. I know the competitor she is. I know her goals. Like we chat often. And it's so helpful for me to be like, yes, absolutely. Versus like if it's the first time I met you, I would have to ask you a little bit more and maybe get to know you, which I'm totally open to. But it helps to have that consistency. Awesome. See, look, now all the other hot seats are rolling in. Everyone's like, yeah, okay. Did someone say something? Did I miss that? No, everyone's good. Oh, Mallory's here. Hi, Mallory. Okay, let's keep going. Queen's here. Naya's here. Let's go Tia Jackson. Hi, Tia.
Hello.
Hello.
It's nice to see you again.
You too. What can I support you
So, all right, so like I was saying before, this is my first pageant, and I wanted to know what can I offer my sponsors because I am getting that together currently, right? And I don't know after I win a title, will I not be able to post them on social media? Will it all have to go through people before I do that? So I don't want to promise, oh, I'll post you, and then I can't do that.
Totally. So it really does depend on the organization and system. So this is where I love group style. For those of you who've had sponsors, what have you offered your sponsors before? Let's kind of get the community collective seeing what they've shared because you'll always get different exciting ideas of what you can offer your sponsors as well. I also think that because you have like a good amount of time, like people say social media promotion, that's awesome. You can say that the time that you're going to work with them is going to be up until the title. You'll do like a thank you post after the title, but typically once my clients compete and win or they're done competing, they'll kind of do like a wrap up thank you post and then let's say if they won and they're competing at the next level, or let's say they didn't win, but now they're competing elsewhere. Typically, what I recommend is they reapproach the sponsor. So it's like instead of just continuing to linger a partnership that may or may not be there, it's like it's within this time that you're supporting them, that you're partnering with them. And then there's the opportunity to continue after at nationals. And I do recommend that because otherwise it's kind of like, where's the relationship at? It's like, are we still doing this? So I would say, as part of what you're offering to them, it's like you're going to get a weekly sponsor shout out on my social media for 4 months leading up to the competition. So that's what people mean when they say social media promotion. Um, Sponsor spotlight series as well. If you're close to them, like in person, you can say, I will do a visit and take photos like with your business or like take some pictures and promote it so that they can use it for their social media, kind of like meet and greet style. If you want like something that I love when women do in different systems, and you might just not know because if you've never competed, how would you have seen this? But they'll do autograph cards. That kind of requires a little bit more planning because you would kind of have to have your sponsors in by a certain date, but then you'd have like a picture of you and on the backside maybe like a nice message and all your sponsors saying thank you. But then when you go to appearances, you would hand those cards out to your community and to kids or whatever and do autographs. So that's a really nice thing. That's a little more advanced. I've never done that, but I did a t-shirt like that. Another way of doing it is like one thing that I love that people rarely do because it takes effort is I did a photo frame one time where it's like the photo frame, the pageant you're competing for, and then as you gain sponsors, you put their logo, like you paste them onto the photo frame. You bring that photo frame around with you and take pictures with it, pictures with other people. It's advertising. Um, Sometimes, in all honesty, Tia, most of the time, your sponsors do not care. Most sponsors will come because you have a prior relationship with someone and they love you and want to support you. And they won't even care if you do all of this stuff. If you jump through hoops and everything, they're just going to say, I love what you're about. I love that you're doing this. Count me in, whatever. It's fine. Some might not even want all the promotion, but social media promotion, and I would be specific, like you're going to get a collaborative post on my Instagram. I'm going to do a 30-second reel promoting your social media once a month. Something like that just shows a little bit more like thought out versus social media promotion. It's like, what is that?
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because that's the thing I was confused about because with me, I have a lot of business connections due to me being an entrepreneur, but the beauty side is something I have not got into yet. And yes, of course, I've been acting and whatnot, but I'm just now getting into making connections, meeting people. So that's why I didn't want it to come off as, oh, I'm just saying da 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 da, and it being empty promises.
Yeah, most of the time what I would do is like strike a conversation up with the people who you know own businesses and say, "Hey, I would love to chat with you about collaborating and, being on, you can say my team leading up to this competition. This is what it's about for me. Would you like to chat about how we can, support one another?" And then you would have essentially what you would want from them. You would share what you would give to them. I consider sponsorships like very partnership, collaborative, like communicative, like a very back and forth thing. Make sure you're asking people you actually want something from and something you can actually give them something for. So that's what I mean. And if you already have those connections, start with those people, right? Start with the people closest to you. I always say, like, if you have a hairdresser, ask your hairdresser. Don't go to like a random hair salon you've never been to before because they don't know you. And then it's like, why wouldn't you go to your own girl? Some people are like worried that people will say no. I say, screw that. The people who love you, like they want to support you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then Sherry said, I usually put it in my pack it up the day after the competition. Yeah, like after a wrap up, usually it's like the day after you compete or a couple days after when you kind of need time to rest. Like that's kind of when your sponsorship time ends. Most sponsors get that though, but it's just about being super clear about it. And then I always say, like, have it be till then, especially if it's monetary. And then when you win, you go to the next level. It's like you get to do it in a bigger way on a bigger level. And typically most sponsors will then be like, yes, okay, now let's do this. So it's a great way to think about it. And there's so many different ideas here. So if you have anything else, like test it out, right? There's so many different ways. Love it. Let's bring up Sherry. Sherry, come on down.
Hello.
Hello.
So my question is, when you're competing for a national that goes international, so one thing I found in the pageant I just recently competed in is I always try and plan for if I win the UK, I would go international. So I always try and do like it to the international to show I am international ready. But because it's British and American, there is quite a different judging style. So it seemed I may have I went a bit too American, and that actually got me marked down in the British one because I was almost too international. What's a good way of balancing showing that you're international ready, but trying to keep it so it relates to for me the UK side of it, but obviously being able to put it across any pageant for that sake.
Can you give me an example of what it means to be too American? Just because I don't know if I know what that means in the UK. Like, what were you doing, or what was the feedback that you got?
So in Royal, we do intro, and the intro I gave across, it was almost too polished. It lost a lot of the Britishism, is the word that was used to me. So I have asked them to just do a little bit more detailed, but I was like, I seem to have prepped too far in advance. So it's trying to find that balance of showing international ready, but not being at international level.
are you open to sharing what your intro was, just so I really get it? Even if you have a
Yeah,
video of it, if you have a video of it, that's totally okay too. But just so that way I can like fully understand. And that's what I mean. We're having fun here.
yeah.
Like, no judgment. Do you have a video of it?
I can repeat it off the top of my head. We have to have it memorized. So,
So good. Everybody give Sherry lots of love. She's about to perform for all of us. Okay, awesome. You just go off the cusp.
community and courage. Two resources I have in spades. From battling a cancerous tumour, buying my first home at 19, and now deadlifting over 100 kilograms, I'm determined to live beyond life's expectations. And when I rise above challenges, so do others, not only through my story, but also my platform, X Success, enabling various non for profit organizations that uplift our low income communities. Success becomes accessible for everyone. And when I rise above challenges, so do others. Oh, sorry. And named Fundraiser of the Year, I aim to give carers well-deserved respite and those struggling a chance to live life with joy on their side, making courageous acts for every community. From Wiltshire, I am Sherry Miller.
Okay, very nice. Well done. I love it that you still have it memorized. You're like, I can't remember an answer to a test, but like, tell me my
I've tried to
warm pageant
de-memorize
intro.
it.
Okay, so to me, I don't think that that was like, so here's my thing. I don't personally, and this is going to be hard for people to believe, like, I don't believe that British pageantry and American pageantry is different in terms of what wins. To me, that was a very well written introduction. Some of it I might have like lost only because your accent, I'm like trying to listen to the words so well. So it could just be my ears. The thing that I heard that I wish I would have had is a little having you say it a little bit more naturally, like working on the speech of it. But I don't think you had to change it. I think it's more when you say it in a natural way at certain words, you could kind of tell it was a little bit more performative. But that also happens in America. That happens
Yeah,
a lot to women who are saying their speech at internationals. It's too like da 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 da. And then what happens is the person who just speaks really naturally, saying all their accomplishments, connects a little bit more. So I think it's less that you're, and I would just get that out of your head because that's confusing. It's like I'm too
yeah,
American, too British. Like keep with the mindset of I want to share with them like my heart, my accomplishments, my credentials of that. I'm ready for that next step. I think for you, it's not putting too much pressure on that, but also noticing the tone of it. And trust
yeah,
me when I say when we do intro in the Queen Collective, we say it like 200 times and we're like, that word, I didn't like the way I said that word. Okay, now I want to say it this couple of words like this, like doing tone in speech. And a great person here to reflect on that is Queen Asia, because she does Toastmasters. Queen's about to have a baby like any day now, though. So we'll have to talk to her in a couple months about it. But like the inflection in the words and saying it in the most natural way is what I would think for you is what you would need. But that's the thing I see most with women who want to win and want to show it. Sometimes we lose our like our natural way of connecting because it's like we want to show them so bad. I've done it before too, where I like squash the dream because I'm like trying too hard in the way I'm saying things. And that's where it has to be balanced with the, okay, I know what I want to say. I know what I'm here to bring. Now let me breathe, relax, and just talk like Sherry. So that
yeah,
would be the thing to connect with. And that's where, because you're 12 months out now from next year's competition, because you're re-emerging, which I'm very excited for you for, because your scores were great this year. I keep seeing you say, now is your time to say, okay, who is Sherry?
yeah,
Now is the time to be focused on what do I want to accomplish over this next year? What do I want my life to look like? Where am I sacrificing my happiness and joy in any area? Because again, if you're sacrificing it in certain areas, a lot can change in a year, and this is your chance to elevate all aspects of you. Because when you're truly happy and content and fulfilled off stage, it's easier to bring that persona on stage versus trying to find this like happy, clean, connected, authentic energy.
yeah.
Is this making sense?
Yes, very much so.
Yeah, but I thought that intro was awesome. We might tweak some of the wording a little bit because I don't remember any of the end, but I remember the beginning and it was very strong. So we might tweak some of it and we can absolutely over the next few months. It's way too early to do that because you're going to change so much.
And
But
I've got a lot of things happening between now and then, like a big move, so that'll be
yeah,
included. So,
but don't stop feeling like you can't bring that I'm internationals ready, but let it be like you're not going to tell them your internationals ready. You don't need to
yeah,
tell them for them to get it. You want to
yeah,
do it through your connection. So connect with yourself. That's truly how you connect with other people. And then we'll strategize all of this like 6 months from now, once it's a little bit closer to that timeline.
Yeah, sounds perfect. Thank you so much. And thank you for everyone's lovely comments I saw in the chat.
Of course, you're welcome. I'm like, I love that we have some of our UK ladies here. We get some accents, we get some culture coming on. Okay, I love this. And that's a huge thing of what we do. And that's the thing. It's like, how do you not build more confidence when it's just like, Kate, say your introduction in front of 14 people you've never met before? Except we do that with everything, your runway, your speaking. Women in our different groups will go through life things, right? Breakups, job losses, family issues, pageant issues, and you're seen in a group of other women. Like it's truly incredible. So we have we're going to bring up Bella next. What I'm going to do, like I said, for a moment, for those who want to continue on in a different way, I'm going to share our different Pink Friday deals going on in the chat. We're going to bring up Bella. But for those of you that want support and you want to continue on, these are the 3 different offers that we have. They're going until Friday. Sound good? If you're already in, tell us which one you're already in so that we can celebrate you. But let's bring up Miss Bella.
Hi.
Hi, Bella. Where are you at? Where are you competing for?
So I'm in Arizona. I live in Goodyear, Arizona. And right now, it was a little confusing because my pageant didn't have a state director. So I was appointed this title. So I'm going to be representing Arizona for the Teen Universe USA competition. And I am obviously extremely excited. Like, that's probably like my dream pageant. But I'm fairly new to pageantry, in my opinion. I've been only doing it for a year and a half. Last year I started. Um, and I really liked it. I think I've improved a lot, but my pageant is next year in August. And just like how you said earlier, I'm going to change so much in that year, but I want to still spend this entire year like preparing for it. And I've started, like I've been getting really consistent like with the gym, and I got a job so I could fund this. And like I got volunteer stuff. So when I turn 18, like that starts happening. Um, but I just don't know how to prepare for the other things, like how I speak and like the words I say and like just everything else in general because it's just so far out from now.
Yeah. So what I always say is that learn the way to doing something like interview. Learn what your platform is, like have a platform, have an interview strategy, and then if things change, you'll still know how to tweak it because you'll already have learned the foundation. So I'll explain this to you because I don't know if we've ever been on a call together. The way I teach the 2 biggest things that I teach is that one, for any pageant, you should have your own platform. That means that it's something that you have created, volunteer, do all the volunteerism, absolutely. But eventually, sooner than later, probably because you've got time, is create your own platform based on a mission or cause you deeply care about that you want to take action with. Because you don't want to go to internationals and let's say you're like, well, my platform is I volunteer with the American Red Cross. But then what if somebody from Montana also volunteers with the American Red Cross? Now you two are kind of blending together. And what I see is that winners and title holders have something they stand for on their own. That's like part of your brand, part of your mission of what you'll do with the title. So let's say you create a platform, like what's something you're really passionate about, Bella, like a topic or an issue?
So I actually do have like my own platform.
Okay, awesome.
I'm trying to keep building it. Um, it's on TikTok.
I love it.
I call like my community the Triple B Baddies, and it stands for like blessed, beautiful, and then baddie. Oh, and then like brains too. Um, and I'm trying to make like this kind of ebook, I guess, where it has like your self healing and emotional intelligence and just a lot of mental health stuff because that's what I really stand for, like upkeeping your well-being, basically.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. That's great. So what I would recommend doing is making that a little bit more legitimate, like really like clarifying what is the Triple B project or what is the Triple B movement. I might consider taking out the word baddie just for pageant
Yeah.
purposes. Like your older judges are not going to know what that is, but
Mhm.
keep like the beauty brains and bless, like bless beauty brains. And we do that through an ebook. So clarify a bit more about what that is and get really known for that. Like make that a
Mhm.
whole thing, make that a movement, make that something that you talk about, that people know what it's about, they know who it's for, and you're making an impact with that and track that impact. So let's say you want to here's an example. If you want to make an ebook, make the ebook and then track how many downloads that's getting. Because then going to competition, you're going to say, I'm not just Miss Teen Arizona, I am the leader of this incredible movement that's reached 1,000 women across the country because they've all downloaded this ebook. Or I have a TikTok community of over 100,000. Let's say it's, 10,000 who follow my videos that I post every single week about being blessed, being beautiful, and being smart with your brains, something like that. It's like get very clear what your platform is about, what you're doing with it, and the impact it's creating. So let's say again, it's now May and you're like, oh, I want to change it. At least if you know how to do it like properly at first, it'll be easier to change because you already know the steps, right? So this is where I say, do the things now. And then if it changes and evolves, that's okay. You know how to do it. You know how to create the impact. Now you're just applying it to something else. When it comes to your interview, I teach your interview strategy is all about you. So Bella's like 5 core things of your life. That's usually your career / your education because you're a teen. So your education or career path, your platform, a hobby, and then 2 wild card things that like you'd want to talk about. Like let's say you love to travel. Let's say you're bilingual. Let's say you've had like a really like personal life story you want to share with them. Like 5 things, no more than five. Five is a good amount about you. And then what you're going to be doing is practicing speaking these 5 things into interview questions. So again, let's say it's May and now you're no longer at the same job, or let's say you've had a career path. Well, you still know how to do interview. You still know how to speak about 4 of these other things. Now you're just talking about a different career path.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? It's not like your entire life is going to change. And even if it does, learn the steps of how to do the pageant things. And then if things evolve, it's not like you're trying to create an interview strategy from scratch, which all of it I teach in the membership, which if you're not in, that would be where I'd probably recommend to start, although you definitely be a candidate for the Queen Collective. But those are the things that I'd be doing now, figuring out what are those 5 things about you? What do you want to share about them? Why do those matter? How can you say those in your interview? So I wouldn't even say you're doing mock interview at this point versus, and hopefully this is really great for all of you to hear, more so you're doing like self-reflection on who is Bella, what is she about, and then what is your platform? What do you care about? What impact do you want to create? And double down on that. Girl, if you love TikTok videos, do all the TikTok videos.
Yeah.
It's unique. It's new age. It's modern. We've got some people coming in here. Does that make sense in terms of what you're doing right now? And then for runway, Teen Universe is big runway. So runway like every single week.
I know. Every single time I go to the gym, I'm literally on the treadmill for 30 minutes. And I go to the gym like every day now at this point.
Yes, absolutely. So did that make sense? Hopefully in terms of like, I can't walk every single step, but platform of your own, know what you bring to the title specifically and work on those things, elevate doing something each day in a small way. And then closer to the new year, get your wardrobe because wardrobe's also really big for Teen Universe.
Yeah, yeah. This just put like the roadmap in my head now. Because before I was a little scattered, and now this like put it all together. So thank you.
Of course, you're welcome. Most people are like that. Most people, before they come to me, they're like, I don't know what I'm doing at any point. And most don't know in those things. Okay, people are saying, join Toastmasters. That will help you. Yes, signed up for Make It Rain last Friday. Sherry's been rocking it. I saw Queen's here. Okay, Quinn's here. Sorry. Queen is here and Quinn is here. Let's go back up. We're going to bring up Michaela Delgaitis. So for those of you that just jumped on, we're doing just open hot seat coaching, chatting if you have insights, reflections, ahas, all of those incredible things. Quinn's like, I'll take Queen any day. Queen, Quinn, Quinn, Queen. And so we're going in order. If you want to jump in the line, drop the word hot seat, but we're going to bring up Michaela Delgaitis, who's in our Queens Collective.
Amazing. So I've been working on kind of some ideas about what I want to do with the title. And I keep getting all these great ideas, but I want to narrow it down and really like solidify it. So I have 3 areas that I'm looking at. I was thinking about a mentorship program with NOFCC, with the queens and like their clients. Another one is keep hearing like pageantry for change, either a scholarship for like low income women to compete in pageantry or an award like for the following year, like when I hand my title down. So me sponsoring an award. And then the other one is like an advocate, like some type of advocate program teaching women about how to lead with confidence. So I'm thinking of like starting up a Dress for Success division in my new town.
And you want to narrow it down, or you want to do all three?
I want to narrow it down just to focus on like one or two right now, to propose like when I compete.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the last one that you said. The like creating your own like advocacy thing. I like pageantry for change, but that's kind of like a next year thing. I like doing something with their charity of choice, the NOFCC. That feels kind of like a next year thing. The one that feels most unique, like your own and exciting, is creating your own like advocacy like movement or platform. If it is something like a dress for success or like a you collect different, women's wear and donate it, that sounds most like something that you can do, something that's right now, something that's repeatable, something that you can, do 100, 1,000, or even if you got, a couple of partnerships, like that's the one that I'm like, oh, that would be the one that I would want you to go in with.
Yeah, because I really want, like, I have a lot of ideas that are coming up, but they're not related to my platform. And I really want to make it relative to like Real Queens United is really what I want to stick with it. And I kind of like the aspect of like going into, because Brantford has a really big homeless community. So I was thinking of going into these different partnerships and providing workshops to these women. And then I realized that like we don't have a Dress for Success anywhere near me. So even thinking of starting an own division in Brantford would be good. So yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Even let's say if you did, I've had a few clients do this where like they plan a day or like a week where it's like, hey, everybody, wherever you're at, because guess what? There's homelessness everywhere. It's like go to your local this or that and drop off a bag of clothes and have them like tag you when they're doing it. So that's like your movement. Instead of it just being in your town, which is important, it's like now you have other people. Because guess what? Everybody has something that they can donate. Every single person has something that they can go bring. You can maybe have like 2 or 3 guidelines of how to do that, plan it for a specific day, and other people will do it. Or maybe like a week just to give people time, a weekend, whatever it is, give it a time frame, and people will do it on that day. And then that way you'll have other people who are also making that impact. What's more national title holder than that?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, that was so good. It's also not uncommon. I saw one of my queens this weekend and she's now planning her reign and she's like, I want to be back in coaching with you because like she's like, I won the title, but she's like, now I have all these ideas and thoughts and I need your help and support. So she'll be jumping back into coaching again soon. Okay, let me make sure I can see. Pageantry for Change is an amazing idea. And maybe that can be what it's called. Maybe that one can still be like part of the movement. Maybe you combine like the last two. Passing on interview wear dresses. Yeah, Lord knows I have a ton of those that I could probably pass on at some point. Okay, I know I see Emma and Sherry want to come up again. I just want to make sure if anyone hasn't gone yet, we're just going to make sure. Mariana, come up and then we'll go back through those who have like a double hot seat that want to come back up. And again, for anyone who just jumped on and doesn't know what's going on, if you have a question, if you have a situation, if you're like wondering things, you want to know your next steps, maybe you just need to chat something out you've been thinking about, drop the word hot seat in the chat and you'll come in our line and then you'll come up, ask a question, chat it out, get our feedback, get feedback from the community here. All of those things. So is Mariana still here? I think that's the same iPhone. There's two
Yes, that's
iPhones now.
oh, that's me.
Okay, and you dropped the hot
Yes.
seat, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, where are you from and where are you competing?
Okay, so I'm from Texas and I'm going to be competing for National American Miss North Texas.
Awesome.
And this will be my second time competing well, this is my first time competing for the Miss title. I competed for the teen title as soon as I graduated high school, but I didn't really know much about pageantry then. But now I know a lot more and I'm ready to bring my A game
Yeah,
for next year.
love it.
My question is, what do you do when you have a judge that rambles?
In interview,
Yes.
how are they rambling? Can you share?
So the question they asked me was, where would I go anywhere outside of the United States? And I told them, I'm just a random country. And they were like, oh, well, there's the other girls that said that and yada, yada, yada. And they just go on and on and on and on and on about this country. And I'm sitting here like, am I going to interrupt you? Am I going to, just waiting for the next question or waiting for a chance to talk instead of listening to them talk? You see what I'm saying? For it to be a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm mesmerized by your hair and your glow. You're just
Thank you so
stunning.
much.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay.
so much.
So what I would say, and I say this a lot to my community on TikTok, is that
Mhm.
interview is not about how many questions you get. So if let's say you
Yeah,
have a 4 or 5 minute interview, is NAM 3, 4, or 5 minutes? I always get them all mixed up.
I'm pretty sure each judge is 30 seconds to a minute,
Oh my gosh.
possibly. I'm
Okay,
not
that's
sure,
not how I thought
but
it was.
I know it was super short though. So no more than 2 minutes, I would say, per judge.
Okay, 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes still. It's like interviews about connection. And I always say
Mhm.
interviews about connecting the dots why you are the best fit to be the title holder. So, two things could have happened here. One, that could have been a good thing that they wanted to talk to you. And trust me, I remember being in the interview seat and like the
Mhm.
judges were like, oh, haha. And I'm just like, ask me more questions. But
I know.
it's not about how many questions they ask you. It's really
Mhm.
about, am I making that connection why I'm the best fit to be that title holder in the other answers I'm giving? And if they're talking, like that might mean that they're making a connection with you. And so you have to hold the energy. This happens on stage and it happens in interview. It's like you have to hold, literally hold and pause and wait and be like, okay, like yes, listen, engage, like let them say what they want to say. Because I've had a judge talk in my international when I competed at RIM, and she was like, well, I just want to say that my mom is also a hospice nurse and she's been doing this for 18 years and it's so amazing what you do. Like, tell me, like, she took her
Mhm.
time to like recognize that because that was a really big connection piece. And I had the best interview at that pageant because I wasn't trying to like rush her or be like, okay, give me the question so I can answer. It was like,
Yeah.
all right, we're making a connection here. So I would say for the rest of your interview, you just want to make sure every answer you give, it's subtly connecting to the title. So for example, what country did you say? I'm curious to know now.
I honestly don't remember, if I'm being honest.
So if you don't remember, it probably tells me you weren't as clear in your interview strategy and probably
Hmm.
not as present answering the questions and really understanding, okay, why am I saying this? So you probably just
Hmm.
said whatever, and then you kind of lost control of the interview. So again, what I was saying to Bella is that what I teach is 5 core things of your interview strategy. If travel is one of
Oh.
them, like no matter which thing it is, you always want to know which answer you want to
Mhm.
give, like which bucket you want to pull from and why. Obviously, you're going to have wild card interview questions that you can't strategize, but it
Mhm.
makes the rest of the interview much more strategic and much more like I'm connecting for you why I'm this title holder. Even if it's something like travel, you know that's like a personality question and you have a reason for saying it versus like, I don't know, I'm just going to throw something out there.
Yes. When as soon as you said that, I remember I said Dubai, and the reason afterwards I told her because of the modest clothing. And then she was telling me how she loved Dubai and all these things and how her husband had went and that I should go. But in my head, I'm like, I have never even been out of the state of Texas. So in my head, I'm like, look, to even get to Ohio or to Oklahoma would be a dream for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and so that's where it's like you can have fun with it and you
Hmm.
can also just realize, okay, maybe I can do a better job of like just connecting with
Hmm.
whoever's in front of me. And it's also like owning it. Maybe in that moment you were feeling a little insecure because you're like, oh, like I just said it. I don't actually like I'm not going to Dubai. I've never even left the state. What is she gonna know that? So you probably felt a little bit of that imposter syndrome, which can come up. And it's like, it doesn't matter, right? She doesn't know if you're going to Dubai. If she doesn't know where you've traveled. You could have said, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Like once I win, like, yeah, we're gonna book a travel there. We're gonna bring the title there. Like you could have had fun with it in that way, but it sounds like energetically you were probably a little feeling disconnected from that
Hmm.
why me. And when you feel
Hmm.
that, I call it like you become shakable. It's like you become shaken. Anything that they do or say, you're like, why are they doing that? What's happening? You're so in your head, you're not in your body. That's what doesn't give us those like high scores. It's being disconnected
Hmm.
from why us and what we bring to the title. So that's just something that you get to work on for this next pageant.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. And you have a strong like presence when you speak, like a very natural speaking voice. Now bringing that like little bit of I know who I am, I know what I want to
Mhm.
say and why I want to say it. I have no fear you're going to nail your next interview.
All right.
So good. Hopefully that helped. And then if you have a follow-up, let us know after, okay?
All righty. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, ladies, like I geek out when it comes to interview things, okay? I really do geek out and strategize over it because there's nothing worse than feeling like you have your foot in your mouth in your interview And like you're like, why are they saying this or why are they not saying that? And it's uncomfortable, okay? And Nail Your Pageant interview, the one that Queen Asia is talking about, it's in the Make It Rain membership. So for those of you who have never worked with me, that might be a really great place to start. And you save 20 bucks off your first month. I'm gonna drop all those Pink Friday deals, but we're gonna go back through. I want to go back to the top of the list. Emma, I think you said you had one more question, and then Sherry, and then I've got the rest of our list here. So Emma, come back up.
It'll be short and sweet, I promise.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Part of Galaxy is that there's a photogenic portion, so a scored headshot piece, which I have not done before. So I booked a really, really awesome photographer in Toronto that I'm really excited about. Our shoot got postponed, but it's happening in December. And I've been working really hard in the past year of like really solidifying my brand, finding what colors work best, especially because I'm a ginger now. So it's like what colors look best with my skin tone, etc. So I'm wondering what makes like a winning headshot and or what are some things I should look for or like mention to the photographer? Because again, I've never done like a very, very glitz headshot before.
Yeah, I would get pictures of the headshots that you are going for and show them because to me, Canadian pageantry, like photographers at least, we just don't get that same level of like pageant headshot. So I would get
Mm-hmm.
a few pictures online of this, the vibe that you're going for, high
Yes.
color contrast and bright. So
Yes.
like very deep dark shadows don't do well. Bright, like very good quality editing, usually
Yeah.
like it's typically pretty good. A great person to ask. We have Quinn on here who is a photographer and literally did her own like two different sets of her own headshots. Yes, it's like the hairstyling and makeup, but I find that bright, high color contrast and a little bit of texture. So like
Mm-hmm.
one of my clients had like not feathery. It was kind of like a feathery top that looked really great on her. Another one had more of like a lacy top. Some had like silk, something with like a texture. You're not going to go in with like a cotton or a polyester. It's typically something that has like a
Yes.
different style of fabric. And again, it all depends on like how it's all pulled together. Those,
Yeah.
if I had to give you like a couple of rule of thumbs, like that would be it. For you, I would probably not recommend white or black. I would go with like a color of some kind, whether it's like blue or red, probably blue. I don't know why that's just like what I'm pulling towards. So I would have probably also like a white background. I think like pageantry just favors like a white clear background.
Yeah.
Um, those would be some of the main things, but get some photos of like the vibe that you're going for that are all very similar.
Yeah, for sure. I picked this photographer because she is an incredible like portrait beauty. Like she does high fashion magazine stuff. So her retouching is gorgeous. And I sent her a bunch of like headshots of what I wanted. And she's been really good, but I have this like off the shoulder green kind of like ruffly top, and I have
Yeah.
a navy blue. And so I'm going for like bright colors against my pale skin and ginger hair. But yeah, that really helps.
Yeah, and always I find that your best headshots are ones that you take towards the end because you're more warmed up then. So wear like your favorite outfit second.
Ooh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, just to
cool.
get like more warmed up, your facial muscles are a little bit more relaxed, all those things.
Sweet. Thank you.
This is so good for everyone, I can tell. I'm having a great time. I could do this all night. Sherry, let's bring you back up for your follow-up question. Then we have, do we already do Sarah? Sarah, Quinn, Tia again. Awesome. We'll bring Sherry up again.
So mine's a bit I'm preempting. So I'm making quite a big move for me. So I've represented Wiltshire for nearly 10 years now, and I am now heading up to Scotland, which is still the UK, but it's technically a different country.
Yeah.
And I am very much not Scottish. I do not sound Scottish at all. And the one thing that I'm a bit worried about is with Rimos, it's very community, very platform based, is being a representative of that area and obviously going out into their community. The trans, how would you really like deal with the transition of that? Obviously, I do a lot down here already. I've had a very solid background and support here. Is now trying to transfer that up to my obviously what my new hometown will be.
So you're literally moving to Scotland.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. It's a big step, right? Like you said, I
Yeah.
know for you it's a UK move, but like that's a different country. And so
Yeah.
the number one thing that I think helps, and for any of you who have moved before, Share with Sherry your biggest tips. Like if you've moved regions, countries, even if you're moving towns, I think the biggest thing is like find pageant women in that town, like, or that are in your area, because you're already connected in the community, and be like, hey, if you go to events, can you let me know? You'll probably have to do a little bit of outreach, but think of it as like this is like your training ground for that new title, because you're going to have new people you're reaching out to, bigger opportunities. So what I always recommend is the town that you're in. I don't know how Scotland does it, but it's a lot here. It's like usually on Facebook or on Instagram, you'll have different community groups for the area that you're in, because they'll share different events. Like the local government will usually have something like an events calendar, and that way you can actually find out what's going on in your area and then reach out or go to some of those local events. But especially if you already have or know people there, or can like connect with a pageant community there, even if you've never talked to those girls before, reach out, be like, hey, I'm Sherry, I'm moving here. Like, what's your favorite thing to do? Or something, like start making those connections. And that's going to also strengthen you a lot to be like, I'm going to reach out to these people. They might say no. Oh my gosh. That'll be like a really great, like, confidence, like independence building thing. And give yourself grace and time, because you're moving to a new country, like a whole new place. That's a huge thing. Don't feel like you have to go right away. I have to be involved. Like, it'll take time to build those connections. But if you did it where you're at, you can absolutely do it again. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. Sorry, I had to mute because my dog started going off and I didn't want you all to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Amazing. That will definitely be something I will look into. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great idea for all of you. If you've never been in your communities before, like, reach out to, I can't tell you how many times pageant women in my area, I'm like, hey, if you hear of an event, like, reach out to me, let me know. Because don't do it if you can do it on your own, but make connections in community. That's what it's really about. I'm just gonna check in with the chat. Gorgeous, amazing. Okay. Mallory, see, I say says hot seat, but we're gonna go back in order. So Sarah coming up. This is what I mean. Like, once everyone kind of gets the ball rolling, they're like, okay, let me come on up, let me get support, let me be seen.
Hi, so I'm Sarah. I'm from the United Kingdom.
Yay.
And what I wanted to ask is, how would you go about recovering from a question that's not gone the best in your interview? I'm on my third pageant now. Well, it will be my third pageant in April. And at one of my last pageants, I misunderstood a question that was asked to me in the interview. And I think I made the mistake of trying to answer it too soon, but I didn't answer it the best, and it just made my whole interview go downhill. How would I go about recovering from a question that hasn't gone well?
Okay, I feel you. Okay, and I want to give you like lots of love, because I can feel the like, oh, it's gonna happen again feeling. And what I want you to realize is that that might never happen again for you. And I just want you to be open for that. It's like, okay, just because that happened in the last interview does not mean it's gonna happen in the next one. So just be open to that. We'll take this in the scenario, in the actual situation. If you have an interview answer that you did not love, that you did not sell, you have to grin and bear it. You do not show it on your face. And this is where I say, like, we don't fake it till we make it. But when you're in the interview room, you have to own everything you say. If you're flubbing, do not let them know it. If that's not your best answer, do not show it in any way. It's like, hold your composure. The next answer, bring it back. Chances are, and again, I'm just going to say this if I sound like a broken record, most women going into their interview don't have an interview strategy, which is core 5 things about you, knowing the core points for each of these 5 things that you want to share and why they connect to the title. When you have this, and when you're practicing this in your interview, it's really hard to flub up answers, because it's no longer I have to create a new answer for every question. It's more you thinking and sitting back, which part of my interview strategy can I bring into this? And therefore you sit back, you're listening a little bit more. But when you don't have this, you're sitting there thinking, what are they asking me? What's this question? Okay, what do I want to say to it? And it really does feel like you're coming at it from a more nervous perspective. You're less connected to your body. You speak a little bit faster. We give more like vague answers and responses. And that's when we really flub up even more. So I would highly recommend, Sarah, for you and for all of you, create your interview strategy. If you never learn from me, or if you never take my membership, or if you're never in one of my programs, this is the simplest way I can give it to you. 5 core things about you, like a story about each, why those things connect to the title. And in every single interview, I mean, every single interview question you do from now until April, you're not practicing anything else other than tying in one of these 5 things into every single answer. That's how you become a master at interview, because it becomes less, what do I say for this answer? And it's like, okay, which answer am I going to tie back into it? This happens for most questions, right? Because again, if you get asked something like what's your favorite color, and you're like, well, that's not part of my interview strategy, okay, you gotta let it go. You gotta just answer your favorite color. But for most of them, you will feel so much more confident answering any other answer, because you'll know, okay, if this one didn't go my best, my next answer, I'm going to bring it back to my strategy. You're going to be a lot more present, you're going to be so much more calm and composed, and you're going to feel a little bit better if an answer doesn't go as well. But give yourself a lot of grace. It happens. Don't let the rest of your interview tank because of it. And don't let the rest of your competition not be really strong because of it. Because sometimes we're like, I bomb that, I might as well take myself out. And that's not what it is. Does that make sense? I feel like I've been talking like and just giving it to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it did like throw me off for the whole rest of the competition, which I regret as well. The other thing is, how would you go from a panel interview, as the last 2 competitions I've done a panel interview, to going into my next competition in April that is round robin style?
Okay, so the only difference is you're looking at one person and not 5 people. It's the exact same, right? It's the exact same. The only time I would change your interview strategy is if you went from like a 5-minute interview to like a 2-minute interview. 5 minutes, you have a lot that you can talk about. If you're only in an interview for 1 to 2 minutes, I would be really focused on, I'm gonna make it really clear either what my platform is, what my career is, or what my why is. 3 to 5 minutes, you've got more time. You can talk about a lot more things. But the only difference between panel and round robin, whether you're group or not, is that you go from looking at 5 people or 6 people to now looking at one person. Don't psych yourself out thinking that it's a completely different interview. Someone's right in front of you. Now you're talking to them just one-on-one, more like a conversation, versus in panel where you want to address everybody and act like you're all having like this grand group conversation.
That actually sounds great. That sounds more my style than panel.
Yes, this is where, okay, this is amazing. And ladies, this is where I say, like, when you see me talk online about how my confidence go, or my clients go from like not placing or being a runner-up many years to winning, it's just because I make sense of pageantry in the nerdiest way that helps you feel so much more confident. And you're like, wow, how did I not ever know this before competing? And you're like, I just saved so much time, energy, money because I'm doing things in a proper way. I really do think I should have like a whole book on like they should give me the reins on making the pageant industry, but we'll save that for another day. So Sarah, does that answer your questions? Does that feel better?
Yeah, thank you so much. That has really sort of helped make things a bit clearer.
Okay, amazing. I'm happy to hear that. And now for April, you'll feel even better training into it. Let's go into Queen Quinn. Queen Quinn is what we're calling you.
I like it. I'll take
Yeah.
Queen anytime, like I said.
Oh my gosh, I love that top too.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Okay, girl. What
We're
can
in
we
winter.
support
It
you with?
snowed 6 inches or 8 inches here today. So I needed to warm up.
No.
I'm kind of, well, I just finished Galaxy this past year, well, last month, literally less than a month ago. And now I'm just really contemplating my next year of pageantry because it feels so far out to commit to like Galaxy again next year. Like, obviously, I had a really good experience. I feel like it's a pageant that I would go back and I would recompete at. But I also feel like that kind of like limits my options in a way, if that makes sense. And I know that there is so many other opportunities out there. And there's like even the pageant, your current title, like obviously the director reached out and was like, oh, would you like to compete for ours? It's in May. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot sooner. And then it's like, I'm like, oh, why wait a whole year for my next pageant when I just came off of one and there are so many other opportunities out there. I don't know what to do. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm not a fan of signing up for something a year out. That's just so far away. It is really far away. And from what I remember for you is that you really love like on stage competitions, the glitz, the glam, but you're kind of open to what the experience looks like. You're not super hard pressed on like, I want to have this opportunity or I want to have this. You're more just like, I want to have a great time, win, have a great experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I just like, I feel like signing up for Galaxy now would trap me. Like, I don't want to feel trapped
Yeah, it's
in a
like too soon.
system. And
One
like,
that
also, then it's like a year and a couple months because it's also my previous year competing for them.
Yeah,
So,
it's a long
so
time.
long.
What I would recommend if you're looking into another system, just because I know Canadian pageantry super well, if you're looking for something similar to Galaxy, that could even be, I don't like to say a practice pageant because it's a very legit pageant, but something that if you're like, okay, if I don't win that one, at least I'm like training for Galaxy and then I could
Mhm.
still enter Galaxy right after, is Canadian National Miss. I don't know if you've heard of it. That would be a great one because they have fun fashion, evening gown, intro, interview, and a headshot, plus a couple of like optionals. And
Is
if
that
you
the one? Did they not do a pageant this past year?
not this year, so now they're doing it the first weekend of June next
Yeah.
year, which kind of puts you at 6 months. You have the outfits. Now you'd be able to start your runway training for it because you already got the outfits. And if you win a cruise and like a trip across like to like a Canadian thing. Yeah, like I'm
That's
like, trust me, I'm like, if I didn't win my title, I'm like, I would be there because I'm like, put me on another cruise. I'm going on a cruise next week and I'm like, put me on another one. So I love it. It's ran by Liz, who is one of the Galaxy title holders. Like I have just good things to say about it. So if you are wanting one that feels closer, obviously, yes, you could do regional Canada, but I also wanted to put that one on your mind so that you can look into
Mhm.
it and have that one feel be a little bit closer. Yeah, I'm not loving
Yeah,
like
I
12 months
know
out
I
yet.
know some previous title holders from Canadian National Miss. I've definitely looked at like I follow their page and stuff. I've definitely seen their page and know some of their title holders. So the last year's title holder, well, their Miss Alicia was the host at Personality Pageants. And then I don't know, I think it might be their Ms. She was the choreographer at Cosmic Worldwide that I emceed.
Queen.
Yeah, Queen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was confusing at that pageant because everyone was like Quinn, Queen, and everyone was mixing us up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's where again, like you would make the most of your year. Like you would kind of have the opportunity to do what you want with it, but it feels more aligned with like, okay, if I want to train for a Galaxy style system and then go to a Galaxy style system, that would make a little bit more sense. But obviously, either one you can't go wrong with. But those are putting you at like a May, June time. And I just feel like that timeline feels so much like better to go into like I can actually train and like see June from now versus October next year. I'm like, October just passed.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I want to do something sooner than next October. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's where I would say that when you get like on stage experience, great. Yeah, that's what I would say about it.
cool. I'll look more into that. And then I did also want to know what your schedule looks like for Queen Collective and just chatting about that. But yeah.
Yeah. We can chat about it after as well, after this. Y'all, like I said, I am leaving this Friday. I am going to be off the map for like 2.5 weeks. No one's going to be able to reach me. I'm telling Carlos I'm turning my phone off. I will be gone. So if y'all want, if you're looking to start your training or coaching in any way, especially for the Queen Collective, use the link. I'm going to drop it again. I've got our list. Don't worry, everyone. You can apply for the Queen Collective. You can join directly, Miss Queen of the Screen, and you can join the Make It Rain membership directly. Those are like the details for all of it. You're not like signing your life away when you click those links, just so you can see we have deals going on for each of them until Friday. And always, like, if you have questions, now's the time to ask. Like, jump in my DMs. We can't set up a call. I don't have any more call spaces, but we can chat about it. Like, I'm always back and forth on my phone. And yeah, 6 months is a better timeline when I definitely say for the Queen Collective, but that would be where I'd recommend you be.
Okay. Well, we'll chat with it when you have time.
We'll chat for sure. That's why I'm like for everyone. I messaged like 3 people. I'm like, y'all said that you were in. So now everyone's like jumping in today doing different things. So I'm like, we move, ladies. I know a few of you really liked it on the Pink Friday call when I was like, ladies, like, let's move. If you're ready to move, let's go. Like, let's not wait. And some of you were ever since then, like Sherry was one. She was like, I'm getting so much more done. You're like, I started moving more, just like you said, and more is getting done. Funny how that works. Okay, we're at just over an hour now. Let's bring up Tia again. Let me just get it. Tia, Mallory, iPhone, which again, I don't know which iPhone that is. And maybe we'll let those be the last ones. So we have 3 more. Who did I say first? Tia?
Hi again.
Yeah.
So I have a quick question because I was on last week and you said how important it is to invest in yourself. If you're trying to win, you don't want to just be all willy-nilly with it. You want to invest in yourself. So I really, really, really wanted join Make It Rain. I love your energy. You were the reason, like I watched your TikToks and you were the reason why I was like, man, I got this. I got this. However, there's also a pageant coach who also is the pageant coach for the competition that am in, and she has competed and won in that one. She also lives way closer and would be able to offer in person walking, so I can practice the walk, all the posing, and I would only be able to pay for one. Obviously, I feel like you would be a little biased on which one I should do, but I want to get your honest opinion on which one do you think I should do would help me win my title.
Yeah, no, totally. This is okay. And it's funny because I've been making a little bit more content around this, like the sponsored coach versus like the coach that you like love and see online. And this is such a personal opinion. I take like all my bias out of it because I'm not just going to say me because it's me. Like I want you to pick the best decision for you. But the things that I look at when hiring a coach, and first of all, for everybody, you're allowed to hire both. If you want, like there's never any like bad energy or anything like that for me. If you're working with me and you're working with someone else, that's totally okay. Lots of clients do it. It's like when you have a coach and then you have a personal trainer, you're allowed to have different people on your team. Right now, if you're only able to hire one type of coach, I always think about one, what is it that you need support with? Like, what do you actually need, like hands on? Like, this is what I really need support with right now. If you need support with things like creating an introduction, let's say, if you need support with like in person runway, like and just know what you need support with, and then how can that coach actually like support you. So if somebody like this other coach has availability to do in person and like single session one-on-one, that's going to be your best bet, just because I don't have space for like single session one-on-one introduction building and like in-person runway. But if you're like, I am looking at this as like a journey where I want to start now and I want to keep learning and I want to be in community, and like I know I've got this, like I'm going to do my own work and I want to plug into Maria's Make It Rain membership for trainings and community and the weekly like audios. That's a little bit about what's in it. And I know I'm going to do the work on my own. That's where I'm going to start. So it's really for me more about what are you looking for? Like what would support you the most? And then who can provide that support? And then obviously, I used to say it's like ABC, it's like action, budget, connection. So we kind of went through action and connection. And then, yeah, what's in your budget? Which one makes the most sense for you? Knowing that I'm never upset if you don't choose me for any reason. Like, I know you're still like part of my community forever, but that's how I decide it. So if you haven't already, have a conversation with the other coach, what it would look like to work with her. If you haven't, I know you know about what my membership is about. That would be where I recommend to start, and then make your decision from there. There's never any like bad blood for me in any way. I work with a lot of pageant coaches too. I feel like that's a big like area of opportunity in the industry where everyone can like chill and we can all be together in one area. But that would be how I would help you make your decision, just so that you decide what's best for you.
Okay, thank you. I would definitely most likely have to wait on joining Make It Rain then. But I do appreciate your honesty. I do have to go though, so thank you so much. And thank you, ladies. It was wonderful talking to you again.
Yes, you're so welcome. And I think that's a great question. Like nobody should ever feel like nervous to ask those things, but Tia will see you, I'm sure, on a future call as well. But yeah, and that's where I say I've been making content about this, ladies, because it's like if I'm the sponsored coach, I'm like, don't hire me just because I'm the sponsored coach. It's like hire me because I'm the coach that you actually want to invest in, because I activate you, because you want my knowledge, you want my training. And I know that I'm not for everyone, and I'm completely okay with that. There's no shame. If we don't work together, I know we're going to see each other online in the community. I've got other clients as well. Like it's so okay. Okay. So I want you to know that. And also don't hire the sponsored coach because like you think you need to. And it's like, if I don't, the director's going to be mad at me. Like hire the people who you want to invest in, who excite you, who expand you, who are going to help you. Mallory, and then other iPhone, and then yeah, Mallory, and then other iPhone. Mallory.
Yes, hi.
Hi, Mallory. You've been doing so amazing. You had like just received an award.
Yeah, I've had a really wild year. When I tell you I've been prepping for my next pageant since I walked off stage in January, every day I've done something towards it. So
That's
it's
amazing.
just been crazy. But I have two questions. The first one is, so the pageant that I do has a photogenic section, but it is live on stage. So we have to go, yeah. So my pageant, it's an independent, very, very unique pageant. And you have to go on stage in your bikini and you have to take photos with a race car. Now, we don't know what car it's going to be. We don't know what color it's going to be. So you just have to wing it. Do you have any type of recommendations on how to prepare for winging an on-stage photo shoot?
I do. And this is so niche and so specific. And I hope it resonates, Mallory. And if it doesn't, feel free to leave it. But do you watch RuPaul's Drag Race?
I don't know.
Okay. RuPaul's Drag Race. I know this is like, if you're not comfortable with this, you don't have to watch it. But they do like every time their first episode is usually some type of like crazy photo shoot where they have to like all do some type of pose with something. If I had a specific like episode or season, I would let you know. I guess like the next one to that would be like America's Next Top Model, except like I haven't watched that in forever and I don't even know what that's about. But RuPaul's Drag Race first episode of every season, it's usually a photo shoot, like a crazy type of photo shoot. Like sometimes they'll have to like pose in the water or they'll be like in like this crazy setting where they have to pose and make it look glamorous. And you just see what different ones do, how they bring like their own personality and their own energy into that shoot. They don't know what props are going to be there. They don't know what it's going to be there. It's usually like it has a twist of some kind, like a spinning platform or like a wind blower. And they have to just like pose and make it work. And so what I would do is when was the last time you've done a photo shoot?
Actually, I just did one with my race car about 3 weeks ago. So I did that as a practice, but
Okay, good.
my car and the car that will be on stage are completely different cars. So I can't really take a lot of what I did with mine, but I'll be able to take a little bit of it. But the struggle you also have is, well, now I need to climb on top of a car and make it look classy and poised. And, I'm climbing on this car in heels and it gets very stressful at that very moment because you're like, if I slip and fall or, what's going to happen?
Yeah, and I don't know all the different types of cars because to me I'm like car, it's a car, right? Like you just pose the same with the car. But the main things are one, like just know what are your best from that photo shoot you did, what are your best poses, what are your best like movements with it, and kind of like have those saved on your phone because those are ones that you want to replicate. Maybe you have three different ones where it's like, okay, if I can go on top of the car, this is the pose I'm doing. If I can have to be next to the car, this is the pose I'm doing. Have like three different game plans of what you're going in with. And we're in VIP and Make It Rain, so we can also go through those.
Yeah, I can send you a picture of, I know what kind of car it will be, but you don't know kind of the specifics literally until we show up and we see it on the stage. So
yeah, and you might not know it, but that's where you get to bring your own like charm and aspect to it. And absolutely, we can look at the photo. This is so unique. It's like, who would have thought we're like, how do you pose with a race, right? But you can also like have like some very similar inspo photos of just ones that you see online. And even if the car is not the same, the way that you're gonna pose, you can still pose in certain ways, right? Like if you know, okay, first of all, you want to keep like legs together if you're in a bikini, but if you know that your angle when your arm goes up, that's what looks the best. You can still bring some of these fun elements to it. Like if I'm thinking race car and bikini, I'm thinking very like fun, sexy. Like maybe you have one where like if you have like a ponytail where you're holding your hair and it's very fierce like this, kind of have like your signature pose that whether you're on the car, in the car, to the side of the car, that's what you can do. And is it just one photo or do you get like two photos?
I believe you get three poses in front of it. Or in front of it, behind it, on top of it. They actually built platforms last year on the car so we could like step onto the platforms to get up. Now, I didn't go on top of it last year because I was like, there's no way I'm doing that. But everybody else did. So I'm like, okay, I have to do something. But yeah, so it's interesting. But I really like the idea of just knowing where my good sides are and angles and just focusing on that and then taking that in and finding out how to put them into the photo shoot. So that's awesome.
Yeah, and we'll have those like specifically planned out. It's like the same thing for interview, right? It's like have your 3 to 5 buckets going in for this, have your 3 to 5 poses going in that you can tweak and change and we'll make it more specific to you. But did you have another question, Mallory?
I did. Yeah. This one's simple. So was watching some of your TikTok videos and I watched one on how to walk. And so completely changed everything about my walk. Amazing video. Wish I had seen it last year. But it was the one where it was more of the evening gown walk. Now, we don't have evening gown. We have what's called sportswear, which is where we are in a dress, but it's a short dress. So would I still follow that evening gown kind of layout and instruction in a short dress? Or would you change anything about it, like taking smaller strides, or just would you change anything about the fact that, I'm going to be in it's a short dress?
I would probably, is it a fitted short dress?
Yes. Yeah, it's fitted.
Yeah, just because I'm thinking if it's fitted, you don't want to take really wide steps because we don't want that dress to be like
Right.
sliding up or anything.
Yeah.
I would say it can be, you still want it to be clean and graceful because that's like the more graceful element of the competition, but a little bit quicker. And we'll teach you how to do that in our one-on-one sessions as well. But I
Okay.
wouldn't go full evening gown with that because it's not like you
Yeah.
have this like elaborate gown that you want them to see all angles. It's like they're going to see your legs. It's a little bit more like, I don't want to say showgirly, but it's a little bit more like you can have more fun with it. You can be a little bit more upbeat. I would find like there will be a middle ground between those two. So still the cleanliness of the evening gown walk, but with more of like the pep and the like fun energy from like a swimsuit walk.
Okay, perfect. I will work on that. Thank you.
So good. You are welcome. Okay, and then our last one of the day, and then is this a different iPhone? Or is
No,
that
it's
we have
me
one
again.
iPhone left? Okay, yeah, girl, come on up.
Yes.
What can we answer?
Okay, so for formal wear, when I competed the first time, that was my lowest score, and I had a 6.5. And I know why. It's because of the formal gown that I had on. It literally looked so different from what everybody else had on. And then the way the hemming was, you could see my shoes underneath the dress. For reference, the dress was a ball gown. Okay. And it was my first pageant, so I'm not really thinking of that.
All
So
good.
my thing is, how do you know the difference between you just liking a gown versus that this gown is gonna win, but you still like that gown? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes you don't know. Like sometimes you
Yeah.
really don't know. And this is where I'm just gonna say it, like having a coach in your back corner can like really help you because they'll be able to tell you like,
Mhm.
hey, like this is not for stage. Like don't do this. If you're not able to work with a coach at this point, what you can
Mhm.
do is like if you have videos from last year's competition, like
No,
look,
definitely. That's what
watch
I've
the
been doing.
competition. That would be the best thing. It's like you want to get your knowledge and understanding of the system down pat so that you can actually see, okay, not that you want to get a gown that looks like everyone else's, but so that you can
Yeah.
see, okay, what's consistent, what looks odd. This is where I say being a judge is so valuable because you start to see these things. It's like, oh, I can see your bra strap. Oh, your gown hem needs to be at the ground. Oh, that
Mhm.
doesn't look like it flatters you, but you can do that with videos. So if watch pageant videos on YouTube, if there's a platform where you can watch a previous NAM competition, look at those types of gowns and what those ladies are wearing. For teen, ball gown is very common, right? For miss, not
Mhm.
so much because it's kind of like you're aging out of that like teen ball gown vibe. Not that I've never seen
Yes.
a ball gown in miss, but for a miss, it does have a little bit more of like a fit and A line. But I
Yes.
always think the way that I pick gown for anybody, the way that I look at it is what is your brand that you want to represent? Like, are you looking to go fierce, fun, like different, classy? Like, how would you describe your style? And you want to have that same style in every area of competition, whether it's like interview gown. So then what you want to do is put all those outfits that you're thinking about getting together and go, does this go? Is this the look I want to present across the board? Do they all look like they give off that same brand? Do they all fit me? Do they all flatter me? Because we don't just
Mhm.
want to pick any gown that looks nice on you. If
Yeah.
let's say your interview is like, I always have a hard time like comparing these. So let's say your interview is like a black, very modest jumpsuit, but then your evening gown has like a high slit, a deep V. It's red, it's got ruffles and feathers, and it's giving like two totally different vibes. The judges are like, wait, who are you? Like, I thought
Yeah.
I knew you in this, but now you're giving me a different story here. So look at other look at other competitions, kind of see, okay, what looks good, what looks stand out, what looks flattering. If you have a coach to give you that feedback, awesome. But I would try on a bunch of gowns. Try on a bunch of gowns because you might not know what looks good on you if you've just never tried on a bunch of gowns, right? Maybe you did like for your prom, but pageant gown shopping is different. And that's where I'd say go to a few stores in your area, try on the gowns that they have, see how it fits, see how it feels, commit to purchasing nothing because you're just doing like your own like intel. You're like looking and seeing, okay, what flatters me, what fits good.
Hmm.
Take videos, take photos, do your own little like be your own coach if you have to and see, okay, what looks nice, what is like bunching and those types of things. Self-awareness is important. Same thing. So
Yeah.
those are a couple different
See,
ways that you can do that.
because the gown I had, it wasn't just like a regular pageant ball gown. Like there's a difference. Like this was like an actual, like it was like belt.
It was
Like
like too much.
it was a real ball gown.
Yeah.
And so for me, I was like, when I got there, you feel confident, and everything. Cause I'm like, oh, this is what I like. This is what I know I look good in. But in a sense, like after I did all the areas of competition and I looked at the other girls, I already knew who won kind of based off of what I saw. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It might not have been the gown either, because I will say we have our like Miss Teenage Canada pageant. The winner won
Uh-huh.
like a big ball gown this year. She was like a
Hmm.
petite little thing in a big ball gown, but you could
Hmm.
tell she still had like I would have picked her as the winner from the very beginning. Like she still
Yeah.
brought that like I'm the winner, and she had like this is the biggest ball gown I've ever seen, like quinceañera type of ball gown. And
Yeah.
and I've seen girls win that pageant who have more of like a fitted, like modern bedazzled type of gown look. But it's about how you wear it, right? And it's about how you present it. So there might have just been a little bit of like, oh, I could have worked it a little bit better. Maybe it was more my posing, maybe it was the fit, maybe it could have been a little bit longer, or you could have
Yeah.
shorter heel. But that goes to show it's like what you notice in like
Hmm.
consistently what's doing well. It's like, okay, how can I make sure I'm also showing up that way so that they don't just look at her because she's wearing that dress and that's what wins. It's like they're looking at me because of what I'm bringing, and this is what wins, not because of the type of dress, but because that's what I'm bringing.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you might
Yeah.
have to do a little bit of research. Look at what looks good on you, because that's really what the judges are looking for, not does your gown. A great example. Did you watch Miss Universe this weekend?
I sure did.
Okay, I'm thinking about the prelims more so. But for the prelims, Miss Philippines wore a ball gown, like
A
a
ball gown.
baby blue, simple ball
Hmm.
gown. And everyone was talking about it because you don't wear that
Yes.
to Miss Universe. And she was still
Uh-huh.
top 30 and she won the Miss Universe Asia title. And it was like
Mm.
something different, right? Something that you wouldn't expect. And she still stood out for it. Now, obviously, she didn't win, but she was still in like that top Asia place.
Yeah.
She did well. So it's about how you're wearing it, how you're bringing it. And sometimes being different is good, but you also want to think about everything as a whole,
Hmm.
right? I
That
know if
makes
you're,
so much sense.
yeah, if your brain is like, oh my gosh, there's so much to think about. Again, we nerd
Yeah.
out here. It doesn't have to be that complicated, but it's like, go try on some dresses. Like this weekend, grab your mom, grab your best friend, have them take photos of you, have them take videos, and you just get to see, okay, this looks good on you. Oh, I didn't like the way that that looked, and be your own judge, just shopping for dresses online or like in person and then from the photos.
Hmm.
And that way you'll
Yes.
have a better idea when you do go to buy your gown of what actually flatters and looks good on you.
Hmm. See, my thing is like I have a bunch of formal gowns and I'm very like familiar with those kinds of things. But taking that year, it'll be 2 years from when I compete next time versus when I competed last time. It's like gaining so much more knowledge. Like you said, what looks flattering on me. So when I had competed for not interview, formal introduction, um, I had this baby blue blazer and I had these white slacks, and the judges did have a comment that they did like my outfit, but I felt like that was more of what I wanted. It was more like me picking an outfit based off what I felt like they would like versus picking a something that was like a medium. Like, okay, I know this is me, but I know this is also what you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just more of that kind of thing.
More that you get to decide how do you want to show up and be the title holder. The
Hmm.
judges aren't looking
Yeah.
for one thing. And comment yes in the chat if any of you have ever worn something or picked something because you think, oh, that's what the judges will like, or that's what this type of competition wants. And trust me, like my second international pageant I went to, it was in the Philippines, and I thought I need to have like a glitzy, sexy, like glamorous, unique, custom made dress. And it was the worst investment I ever made because that dress was a pain in my butt and it was like ripped and it was unfinished and it was stressful just to have it. And also that I was tripping on it on stage. And I'm like, the judges don't care that I have this dress right now. They do not care. I'm like, I should have
Yeah.
worn something that I liked, that looked good on me, that I felt good in, that also was flattering on me. This dress was very flattering, but I couldn't walk in it. And so I'm like, I can't, it doesn't matter. It's what do I want to bring? What am I confident in? And there is a little bit of a learning curve when you go from like regular, muggle life to like pageant life, right? Where you got to kind
Yes.
of learn, okay, this is a pageant material. This is a pageant outfit. This is a pageant interview dress. This is a
Hmm.
pageant gown. And then bringing what you want to wear into it as well. Because if you love it and it matches you, matches what you'd wear as the title holder, your judges will love it too. Sometimes it's a risk,
Yes.
but there is a learning curve with it.
Hmm.
So you're learning. That's okay. And you're growing. And this is where I say, like, every single year, obviously, you don't have to. You can rewear the same outfits, but you're changing and you're growing and evolving every year. So that's where I love, getting to shop for the new you going into competition. So maybe you sell
Yes.
some of those old things to make room and budget for the new dress that you're going to win Miss North Texas in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I started my Depop already, which is crazy how you said that.
Good. See, I feel like it's just like it's time to go out with the old. Out with
Yes.
the old is like the theme now. And then you get to rediscover. Pageantry is truly like rediscovering who you are, who you want to be, the queen that you are. So there is a bit of a learning curve. If you look back at my old pageant photos, you'd be like, Maria, that doesn't look like you. And I would say yes, because I've grown a lot since then. But you start, we all start somewhere and you grow and you evolve and you buy things and some things work and some things don't, and you learn each time.
Yes, we will do.
Yeah, a great idea for you, just saying, because we are talking a little bit about our Pink Friday deals, is in Miss Queen of the Screen, our virtual pageant, the judges give you feedback on those things. Like, so if you're trying to test something, we're doing like a runway call, and if you don't know about the gowns or anything, and you want to bring all of them like on the call and show us, we can give you I will give you feedback on the gown side, but your performance, the judges will be able to give you feedback. So if you want to practice your performance before going to Miss North Texas, then you'd be able to do that there. That's what Miss Queen of the Screen is for. It's literally like pageant prep practice for your next competition. Just saying for anybody who is interested.
Okay, that's useful.
Awesome. Yeah. We never want our pageant to be like our practice ground, but ladies. So does that feel like, okay, you've got direction of what to do?
Yes.
Okay, amazing. So good. Ladies, we've been at this for 90 minutes, and trust me, I could keep going, but I've got some packing related things to do because I'm away until like mid-December. So I'm very excited for it, but I'm so thrilled each of you got to be here. Hopefully, even if you didn't get to ask a question, you got a lot from what other women were asking. Again, Pink Friday deals go until this Friday. If you have a question about anything, if you want to join something, if you join something and you want to join something else, you're so welcome to join more than one thing. I know lots of my clients do. And if you're unsure, send me a message because I'm available in here until Friday. And then after that, your gal is off grid. So I will be back in mid-December. But everyone did awesome. Thank you for your questions, your openness, your sharing and celebrating and cheering on other women. This is truly what I do and what it's about. And just know you're all amazing. You're all doing awesome. So keep it going. And I'm here for you all. And I look forward to the next time we all got to be on a call together. Shawnee's here. Thanks, Shawnee. Malaysia's here. Okay. Good night, everyone.